We're good. We're back.
We're back. We're live. Look at that. 2 weeks in a row, buddy.
Hey.
Woo!
It was because on the last one I didn't say next week.
But I did, and look, it came true.
You know what else came true?
Just like my prediction about when tax season would start.
Exactly.
I was right. You were wrong.
That's fair.
This is per usual.
Yeah. So today's pod, we'll go over a little bit about the start date. We'll also talk about the deadline being extended for California residents. And then we'll go over just some highlights of, what tax season's bringing as far as some of the bigger items.
Yeah.
And then hopefully next week I can get my software up and running on this computer in here, and then we can go over some Zapier.
Yeah.
But yeah, the IRS came out, announced January 27th is the start date for the 2025 tax filing season. I told you last week.
Let's play the tape back.
Yeah.
Should put a bet on it.
Yeah. No, I think that was pretty widely. Everyone thought probably that was going to be the date.
Yeah.
Last year was 29th.
Was it?
Yeah.
20s. Yeah. Can't remember. That was a long time ago.
But yeah, so individual returns will start processing on the 27th. I think the business returns will start processing on the 15th.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's good. I'm glad it's the 27th.
Yeah.
Makes it, gives us a little more time, but we'll see. It's a good date.
Remember when it wasn't always like around the 15th for a while?
Yeah.
And then they started pushing it back a little farther.
It used to be somewhere in the teens, and then now it's always seemingly for last year, and I think even the year before, always having a little bit later date.
Yeah.
So I like the later dates.
I think it's better for companies reporting purposes as well, trying to get all their information out and
could be
reporting. IRS has a little more time for their get their MEF system going. They always do some, there's like a testing period, but
I would expect hub testing is probably going to start sometime soon.
Yeah. But yeah, so we have a date. We're ready to rock here with or without whatever you're working on.
Everything.
Yeah, so that was big news last week.
Yeah.
Dropped Friday. And we're doing this pod on Monday. So yeah, the other thing we were talking about was this unfortunate stuff that's going on over in California.
Wild.
Have you seen the pictures from this?
I've seen some. It's a lot of before and after pictures have been coming out. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
crazy how it could just rip through it like that.
It's totally consuming houses.
Joe Rogan predicted it. He was talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff floating around online, but the IRS came out and postponed the tax deadlines until October 15th. So that's good.
A little extra time there, and it seems as of late for I don't know how many years now, there's always a few different states that get the extension time.
There's been quite a few disaster-related extended deadlines for sure. I think we have a page on our resource center that has a lot of those deadlines on there.
But then, it's only for the L.A. County residents, so it's not the entire state of California.
Right. But yeah, that was, that's just a lot going on over there.
Wow. And then I think I heard something that just started because of like an underbrush wasn't cleaned up or something, and wild dog just spread like that.
Well, I was talking to a couple of people here this morning about it, and they're saying sometimes from the winds, the power lines get pushed over.
Oh yeah,
and that can spark. And with it being so dry and the winds, it just and then look out.
Nope. Florida's got hurricanes. They've got fire.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Pretty awful, but yeah. So they've pushed that then to the 15th, and I'm sure there'll be a few other ones that get extended out to the 15th, but
yeah. But yeah, so that was the latest news from there. Let's go over some some of the highlights that going into this season of, what people can expect. One of the things I saw, this is from the Journal of
Accountancy.
Yeah. They talk about the 1099K.
Mm-hmm. So these are changes for 2025 season. Taxes.
Tax season 2025.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, so 1099K, I mean.
So that all was being thrown around where they were going to adjust the limits for those to be issued because of the digital currency, correct?
And the digital currency is going to be the DA.
Oh, they got the new form.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But that's coming out. I think it's intended to come out next year. 1099K, just like credit card transactions.
Yeah, because the influx of all that going on.
And they never really had, like you do with the 1099 miscellaneous or for contract workers and such, being the limit you had to issue those were $400 or more. And now they haven't really had one. It doesn't seem a firm line for the 1099K. And so now it's looking like it's going to be receive credit card payments of $2,500, then a 1099K would be generated and issued to you.
Yeah, because I think the end goal starting in 26 was $600.
Yeah.
So they're just prepping you this year for the 2,500.
Yeah, so I think they finally got that all sorted out, because they were talking like if you had Cash App or
right.
Venmo.
I think that was the problem, because everyone's freaking out at like, if you're like just moving money to pay someone, then you're going to get a 1099K for it. And I think that would just cause a giant mess.
Oh, gosh. That has been issued to people, but I think it happens when you set up your account, in particular, if you set it up as a business account versus as an individual account. I think there's an option for that, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, if you have that selected accidentally, then it could be generated, and there's ways to fix it so it doesn't become like taxable income, but still.
Yeah, so you can bet you're going to see a lot more of 1099Ks this year.
I would imagine so.
So if you get a new form and you're like, what is this? Just know that threshold has been reduced for now. To receive those.
So they should be coming out. And the problem with those is, when will they come out? So if you're a person who is in business and receives credit card payments like this,
yeah, you might want to double check
make sure,
at least accounting for it, because you may file and then, what's this? Yeah. So that was one of the items that was pretty big on there. The other one is this TCJA, where they're all set to expire.
Yeah.
But we'll see with the new Trump administration because he's the one that brought this in. So
right, I could see it being extended.
Yeah.
I mean, just for purposes of the software, I would like it to be extended so we don't have to go back and change all these things as far as.
And this isn't anything like, this isn't accounting when you're filing a return. This is just for next year.
Yeah. So if it does get reversed, I mean, then you're looking at the standard deduction being reduced again, bringing back personal exemptions, reduction of the child tax credit, and then $10,000 cap SALT will be removed or reverted to allow individuals full deductions for these taxes. So, I think there's good and bad things with it being extended, or maybe with it being cut, depending on your own personal circumstance. But boy, I hope it stays just for.
Well, I think the standard deduction made it a little easier for everyone.
Right. Well, because then if that gets reduced again, now you're bringing back in
the Schedule A.
Schedule A's or potential for that. So
there's always a lot of, as my son would say, sussy things going on in Schedule A.
Please don't ever say that again.
And the SALT, I think, has always been something, even they were trying to change.
Yeah.
Making that 20 for married. Wasn't that the case that they were making?
I think they brought that up. Reading something about that, which, I mean, makes sense. Every other credit, if you're married or head of household, usually there's a certain different threshold that applies to those different filing statuses. So, I can see a good argument for increasing that for married individuals, and then maybe making some sort of adjustment for those who are filing head of household.
Yeah. Yeah, but the personal exemption and the standard deduction were huge changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to be prepared and pay attention to what's going on in the news, because this is something that's expiring. So
definitely could bring back, if it does expire, a lot more Schedule A's than that have been filed for. What's that? When did this get enacted? 2017?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would think these would be one of the things, as soon as Trump gets into office, they'll probably resolve pretty quickly.
Yeah, right after he ends the direct file program, TCGA extension.
We'll see. But it's looking that way.
Yeah.
From everything, especially with Doge coming in and trying to cut costs.
Yeah.
The other thing, what was it? There was this digital assets transactions.
Yes.
So this is a new form
for 25. Yep.
25.
I think it's coming 25. Is it 25 or 26? 25, I believe.
And it's just digital assets reporting, correct, for cryptocurrency?
Yeah. So any kind of, I think, crypto transactions or sales, they're finally going to have a form that it gets reported on. Looks pretty much just like your general 1099 forms, like a 1099B or any of those varieties. So basically, I think there's different reporting requirements for the brokers of these accounts. But basically, yeah, if you have sold some Bitcoin, expect to receive a 1099 DA that will report that transaction. So, it's always been required to report your digital sales of assets, but it's been kind of loose on keeping track of them. So I know they've gotten a little bit better of that, and this is another way to kind of create trackable transactions for the IRS as far as those go.
Because normally it's reported kind of like a stock sale, correct?
Yeah, and it's still going to be reported the same way, I would assume.
It's just probably giving these platforms enough time to develop some reporting around it that is required to get these forms out.
I think it's just still essentially going to be reported on the 8949. I don't know that there will not be necessarily a requirement to have like a 1099 DA form built into the software.
Yeah.
I think this might just be more for the individual and for the IRS to track, just to know the sales and know the proceeds and sales price, and then they can calculate the correct gain or loss on the transactions.
Yeah, I can probably say that you're going to see a lot of different tax return results.
Yeah,
coming next year with this new form coming out, and how people handle that. Yeah,
and then again, I mean, if an individual has these types of transactions, as long as it's reported, I would say on the 8949, that's good and fine, and you don't need to really worry about necessarily having the form, because who knows, being a new form, how quickly these will be out. And again, you'll have the cases of, if you don't know exactly all your transactions for the year and you kind of forget about having this, then you're looking into amendments. So as long as the taxpayers or customers keep up to date and have their, I don't even know what kind of transactions they get, certain print-offs that are like your 1099B packets from, if you can go into your different crypto accounts that you sold through, if those are available. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many of these actually get sent out.
Yeah.
And then on time or late, or what the case might be.
I think there'll be a lot of them.
Oh, for sure.
So, new fun world. But yeah, that's a couple changes that look for coming up this year.
Could be coming.
The 1099K is probably an instant impact that you're going to see filing tax returns this season, but these other two are just coming soon items.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be the case, especially for nowadays, everybody's paying with credit cards or some kind of transactions like that. So definitely going to be seeing a lot more of them, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of items that we have going on this week. Got a couple webinars. So we're navigating. This is just software related. So just showing people how to use our software. We have our desktop and our online product this week. We got those two coming up. Then we do the same ones in Spanish the following week. And then this big tax law updates one.
On the 24th.
And then tax season will be underway. after that, and
it's coming.
Everyone will be rocking and rolling.
Yeah. They're already sounds like rocking and rolling on some of them, but I would say be interested to see though. I haven't even seen yet anything on the hub testing when they're going to start that. So we're at the 13th, 2 weeks out. I would imagine it's got to be starting here.
I mean they always usually follow suit from what they did last year.
Yeah. So that'll be starting, and then usually the first week of that, it's kind of pretty slow on the acceptances, but usually by the second week, it's running pretty smooth. So,
yeah, ever since they've started this MEF system, once they got it up and running, it works pretty good.
Yeah,
it's fast,
pretty instant.
I remember back in the day, it would take a while to get the acknowledgement.
Yeah,
from the IRS, and a lot of those tax businesses rely on those acknowledgments.
Yeah.
So that MEF system really sped up the way that these businesses ran. So,
especially now, even it's so important, especially with all the advances and stuff
that
are attached with tax returns. So, getting that instant acknowledgement, that way the customer can get their money and be on their way.
Yeah.
Versus having to wait hours and them just waiting for you.
And I think there's a lot of fraud that goes on early.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So getting those acknowledgments back sooner rather than later is always a good thing, especially for the IRS.
Yeah. And especially for the people with the advances too. Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here.
We're getting ready to.
Tax season is
coming.
Here.
It always comes fast. Then it'll be over.
Yep.
I can come out of my cave.
Well, I appreciate you coming out of the cave today.
Yeah, anything for you, buddy.
That's probably all we had for this week, and I will see you next time.
Next week.
All right, buddy.
See you.
Later.
Bye.